Hi guys, welcome back to SL Smartman YouTube channel. And in this video series, I'll be showing you how to make a tank shooter game on Scratch. So this is the preview of our game. So our player is the blue color tank, so there are enemies. So if we get hit by an enemy missile, our HP decreases, and if we destroy an enemy tank, our HP increases. And there are random bushes. And here's our scope. So the scrolling concept was from XAML 2. And if our player dies, our game restarts. You can see there's also power-ups. So the star power-up increases our score. So okay, this is part 1 in making a tank shooter game on Scratch. So let's get started. So first let's make some variables, so make sure you download and upload the sprites. So click on player, so there are 6 costumes, the tank and the explosion costumes. Make sure your tank is facing upwards. Now let's make some variables. So all the uppercase variables are for all sprites and all the lowercase variables are for this sprite only. So first let's make some variables for this sprite only. Let's make a variable called x for this sprite only, y for this sprite only, xval for this sprite only, yval for this sprite only, and all HP extra mouse X for this sprite only, extra mouse Y for this sprite only. So okay, now let's make some variables for all sprites. So now let's make the variables for all the sprites. So let's make a variable called enemies for all sprites, HP for all sprites, max velocity for all sprites, reload for all sprites, score for all sprites, scroll X for all sprites, scroll Y for all sprites, and tick for all sprites. And now when green flag clicks, we need to broadcast a new message called start game. And we need to hide. And when I receive start game, we need to switch costume to tank blue and go to back player and hide, and grab another when I receive start game. So let's minimize the screen. Forever, let's make a new block called reset. So forever reset, so just keep this here, and we need to broadcast a new message called clear and wait. So we'll duplicate this. We need to broadcast a new message called setup and wait. So grab a repeat until. So repeat until HP is lesser than 1. Call player so the input call velocity. So make sure you click on one without screen refresh and player max velocity. And we need to broadcast tick. Then let's make a new block called dead and dead. So okay, now let's define this reset block. So we need to make a variable, so make enemies to 0, set our X and our Y to 0, duplicate this, set our X value to 0, Y value to 0, so we set our scroll X and scroll Y to 0, and duplicate this, change this to scroll X and scroll Y, and we need to set our score to 0, duplicate, to set tick to 0, and we need to set reload to 6 and our HP to 10 and our max velocity to 12, so we don't need this too. So okay, now grab a when I receive tick. So when I receive tick, we need to change tick by 1. And now let's define this player velocity block. So we need to go forward 1 layer, switch costume to tank blue and set our brightness effect to 0 and grab if statement. So if HP is greater than 10, we need to set HP to 10. So grab another if statement. So if not equals, if HP equals to old HP, we need to set our brightness effect to 100, and then we need to broadcast a new message called hit, and then we need to set our old HP to HP, and again we need to go forward one layer, point towards mouse pointer, and we need to turn 90 degrees, and then we need to set our X velocity to grab a times, grab a minus, place it here, another minus, and another minus. So mouse X minus X minus control X divide by 30 minus velocity, and we need to duplicate this and change this to Y well, and Y, scroll Y, and mouse Y. So grab a if. So if distance to mouse pointer is greater than 30, then we need to set X val and Y val to 0. So this should be in an if else statement. So else grab a equals, so grab a if, so if, grab a mode, so tick mode 2 equals to 1, then we need to change our scope by 1. So grab a repeat until, so repeat until, grab a lesser than, so duplicate it. So if, grab a ABS and change it to SQRT, grab a plus operator and 2 times operators, so SQRT xvel times xvel plus yvel times yvel is lesser than velocity. Then we need to set our xvel to xvel times .95. So duplicate this, change this to yvel and yvel, and then we need to change our X by round xvel. Duplicate and change our Y by round yvel. And then we need to change our extra mouse X. So grab a divide and a minus, another divide. So mouse X divide by 1.8 minus extra mouse X times 15, and duplicate this and change this to mouse Y. Change this to mouse Y and extra mouse Y. And then we need to change our scroll X. Grab a round and a plus operator and a minus. So X minus scroll X plus extra mouse X. So duplicate this and change our scroll Y by Y, scroll Y and extra mouse Y. So grab if. So if lesser than, so if ABS of scroll X is lesser than, is greater than 2000, we need to set our scroll X to grab a times and a divide. Duplicate this, ABS of scroll X divide by scroll X times 2000. Duplicate the same thing and change this to scroll Y and scroll Y. Then let's make a new block called position. Oops. Grab this position block and grab an if statement. Grab an AND and OR. So if mouse down or key space pressed and grab it equals and tick mode and tick mode reload equals 1, then we need to create clone of enemy player projectiles. So it's this, a player missile. Make sure you upload it. And now let's clean up our blocks. And define our position block. So let's make a new variable called position and an input called x and y. So position, grab a minus, so x minus scroll x and y minus scroll y, and then define position x and y. We need to go to x and y, grab an if else, grab an end equals, so if x equals x position, duplicate, and y equals y position, then we need to show else height. And let's define the deadbook later. So now I'll be showing you how to code our infinite BG. So make sure you upload it. So there are two costumes, the purple one and our background. So make sure you name it as infinite BG. And when I receive start game, we need to hide. And let's make a block called position x and y. So we need to switch costume to costume 1, and then we need to go to x and y, grab the if else statement. So if x position equals to x and y position equals to y, then we need to show else height. So grab the if statement. So if x position is lesser than negative 500, so let's make a new variable called x for this spread only and y for this spread only. We need to change our x by 1000 and duplicate this, and if 500 is lesser than x, we need to change our x by negative 1000 and duplicate this too, and if our y is lesser than negative 400, we need to change our y by 800, and if our y is greater than 400, then we need to change our y by negative 800. Then we need to switch costume to BG and go to back layer. Then let's make a block called clone x and y. So click OK. So we need to set x to x times 480 and duplicate this, set y to y times 360. Then we need to create clone of myself, and when I receive tick, we need to position to x minus scroll x, duplicate to y minus scroll y. And when I receive start game, we need to clone 0 0, duplicate, clone at x1 and y0, and clone at x negative 1 and y0, and clone at x0 y1 and x1 y1, x negative 1 y1, 0 negative 1, 1 negative 1, and negative 1 negative 1. So okay, now let's test our scrolling background. So now you can see our background scrolls and our player can move. So now I'll be showing you how to code our player projectiles so our tank could shoot. So for that, click on Player Projectiles and let's make a new block called position at an input called x and y. Click OK, go to x and y. So grab the if else, so if x equals to x position and y equals to y position, we need to show else height. And when I receive start game, we need to set our x to make a new variable called x for this sprite only and y for this sprite only. We need to set x to 99999 and duplicate and set our y to 99999. Now let's make a new block called setup. Make sure to tick run without screen refresh, and we need to set x to get this backdrop of state and change it to player, and x duplicate y of player and point in direction of player. Then we need to position to x minus scroll x minus y minus scroll y. Then let's make a new variable called xval for this sprite only, and another variable called yval for this sprite only. We need to set our xval to round, so round minus times, so mouse x times 1 minus x minus scroll x, and duplicate and set our yval to mouse y times 1 y minus 4y. Then grab a repeat until grab a lesser than, so get this ABS off and change it to SQRT and a plus operator. So xvel times xvel plus yvel times yvel is lesser than 48. Then we need to set our xvel to times xvel times 1.05 and duplicate, change this to yvel and yvel. Duplicate this whole thing, and if 50 is greater than SQRT of xvel times xvel plus yvel, then we need to set our xvel to 0.95 and 0.95. And then when I start as a clone, switch costume to blue one outline, which is this costume. Now let's make a new variable called hit time for this part only. We need to set hit time to 2 and then setup, wait 2 seconds and delete this clone. Now grab a when I receive tick, let's clean up these blocks. Need the position block. And then we need to change our x by xvel and change our y by yvel. So grab a if, so if not hit time equals 1, then we need to change hit time by -1. And grab another if statement, so if hit time is lesser than 1, then we need to delete this clone. And when I receive clear, we need to delete this clone. So okay, now let's test our game. So now you can see our player can shoot. So our player projectile code works. So okay, this is it for part 1, and in my next video I'll be showing you how to code our enemy tanks and our enemy projectiles and our HP. So if you like this video, please make sure to give it a like, subscribe and share. So see you in part 2 in making a tank shooter game in Scratch.